Hi guys, my name is Josephine. I hope you guys are doing great. We've reached the end of the year and honestly it's one of my favorite times because I love to reflect on my year, the growth, and to remind myself that besides everything bad that maybe has happened, I'm still here and that matters. The end of the year is also the perfect time for me to set my intentions for the future, and I make a vision board for the new year with all my resolutions. New Year's resolutions and vision boards have a quite bad reputation, I feel like, which is why in this video I'm going to explain to you why we usually fail to stick to our New Year's resolutions and how I make a vision board for myself that actually works, at least for me. I tried to come up with at least 3 reasons why New Year's expectations or New Year's resolutions, New Year's goals, whatever you want to call them, why they fail. And as I did my research, one of the reasons was you probably set the wrong goals and that your goals are not specific enough. It's pretty self-explanatory actually, but if, set example, you want to exercise more in the new year, then you go into the new year, all of a sudden you're overwhelmed because you want to exercise, you want to be really active, you want to be fit, you get a new gym membership as an example and you start working out 4 times a week. And that maybe works for X amount of time, but after a while you maybe lose motivation. Work comes up, school comes up, life comes up, and then you become frustrated because a week goes by and you haven't hit the gym, 2 weeks go by, you still haven't been there. So the problem is if your resolutions are too vague, you don't know where to start, what you should do, how much of whatever you want you need to do to achieve this goal, and then you're probably less motivated because it's just so overwhelming to get a start. And if you fall out of a routine, it's really hard to get back in because you don't even know how much, as an example, exercise you're supposed to be doing when your goal is to just exercise more. What does that mean? So instead you should say something like, as an example, I want to start exercising 2 times a week. It looks like a reliable plan if you stick to that thing, and you are far more likely to actually go after that goal and succeed in it. Also, you can use something like a timeline to define whether or not your goal is short term, medium term, or long term. You can narrow it down from months to week to days, and then you know what you have to do each day, each week, each month to achieve this goal, and it becomes a solid structure that is reliable. You know what to do, you're not scared, you're not overwhelmed, and you're less likely to walk away and fail. Another reason why we are more likely to fail our New Year's resolutions is because we are not framing them in a positive way. It means that you're more likely to not do something if you frame it in a negative way, like I have to stop eating junk food, I have to stop spending money, I have to stop being lazy. Think about negative self-talk. Where has that ever gotten you? Nowhere, right? Yes, how we talk to ourselves impacts our actions and our behavior. So what we should do is talk to ourselves in a positive language. So it sounds more like something that you would actually want to do, and you start to forget about the things you are not supposed to do. Because if you put a lot of focus on I have to stop eating this, I have to stop doing that, you actually put so much thought and energy into those things that it's really hard to not think about them. Another reason why people fail their resolutions is the goal itself is not so much about them. What if you actually don't want to lose weight? What if you don't want to be on a diet? What if you don't even want to go to the gym, but all of a sudden you feel pressured to do so? And that usually becomes your New Year's resolution, because this is a pretty trendy thing to lose 5 pounds, to lose 10 pounds, to be finally fit and look good. And hear me out, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be on a diet, but if that's not what you want, then why is it on your list right now? I saw that. Leave it out. If that's not your goal, leave it out. One of the most important reasons why people probably don't stick to their New Year's resolutions is because they don't believe in themselves. There's a quote and something about you are your biggest enemy, and I truly think that is the case. It's something that I myself learned when I went to the gym and I started lifting weights. It's always possible to do one more rep when your mind is telling you you're not able to. Because your mind is able to tell you that you are not able to do another round when you actually am, and it's somewhat a survival instinct or something, but you can actually train your brain, and therefore you should believe in yourself, because you can. I hope you remember the sentence, how we talk to ourselves impacts our actions and behavior. If you are telling yourself you're not able to do it, you aren't, because you told yourself that you're not able to do it. So you should always be your own cheerleader. Did you know that only about 8% of all the people that do New Year's resolutions actually stick to them by the end of the year? Yeah, it's pretty crazy, right? But it makes so much sense, because a lot of times we put so much pressure on ourselves. We set unrealistic goals. We set goals that we don't even want to reach necessarily, because we only feel pressure to do so. Along with that, we're probably not believing in ourselves enough. And that should change, so that's why I'm making this video. So now that I've got that off my chest, I'm going to show you guys how I visualize my goals for the new year. But before I even think of making a vision board, I write down all my goals as specific as possible. It doesn't matter if they seem minor, or neither if it's only 1 or 2 goals, but writing them down is one of the fundamentals, because if you don't write down your visions, they will keep floating around in your brain like thoughts do, and thoughts can come and go, right? But you want to make your goals a permanent thing in your life that you will be able to remember, so writing them down really helps with that. This year I really got deep into the things of manifesting, and I tried something called scripting, which is where you write down your goals as something happening to you right now in present tense. This might feel a bit cheesy at first, but I personally think it's a great thing to train your mind in a way that it makes you feel ready for actually achieving this goal. And once I've done that, I head over to Pinterest to find pictures that come as close to the way I'm visualizing my goals as possible. And it usually takes a few hours, because I tend to lose myself in this, but honestly that's one of my favorite parts of it all. I just get so inspired by this, because suddenly my goals that I wrote down prior to this finally become visual, and it sort of feels like they can actually become a reality of mine. Once I've got all my pictures, I head over to Photoshop to create the final collage. Honestly, I like to use it as my desktop background, because I use my laptop and my phone practically every day. So I also create a wallpaper for my iPhone. By the way, if you don't have Photoshop, there's a ton of apps and websites you can use for free to create a collage for yourself. I just throw a ton of pictures into Photoshop and I sort them through a tiny bit. Maybe I delete some pictures, and then I try to make my vision board as cohesive as possible. So when I look at it in the end, it just makes sense to me. I start to describe the sections as my goals, like 6:30 a.m. morning routine, reading books, my summer in Paris and Milan, and bike riding and stuff like this. That's practically it, and I hope you enjoyed this video. It means a lot to me, truly, and I wish you guys a wonderful new year with a lot of opportunities, filled with love, health, time for yourself, and fun memories. So if you enjoyed this video, feel free to subscribe, leave a like or a comment, and yeah, see you soon!